But why can the Oratrice? It's funny that he was investigating the Oratrice and now it's going to give him his judgment now.
Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore,
why?
Lady Farina may continue.
I haven't had a chance to
her
talk yet. Why does she get to keep talking? I guess it's her side. I guess in trials they'll do like one day they have like one not her side and the other day they'll have the next side if it's a big enough trial.
At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Once again... Oh no. Once again, she's just so obnoxious about it. It's actually... infuriating. Alright, based on the opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statement. I feel like there'll be some reason I will grow to like her a little bit more, but I don't know. This is not building bridges very well for here. I mean, use evidence and clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions of fact and replace them. Oh, so we're like doing objections and stuff like that. Use your refutations to convince the audience and obtain more support from the people. The Oratrice will display such shifts clearly. Thank you, Oratrice. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you can complete this cycle of refutation and veil the truth. Alright, so technically, in universe, this is definitely rigged against us. But as a gameplay feature, this is definitely rigged towards us. So let's see. Oh no.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel.
Okay. What can I tap here?
When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud.
How do I refute that?
He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound.
These are cool images of like Linney, except not, because this is him kidnapping somebody, and I don't think he would kidnap somebody. Oh shoot, my AirPods are dead. Alright. If audio has cut out, let's hope that that didn't happen. Here, I'm gonna put the microphone close to the iPad. It might create echo if it does keep recording the audio, but in the past, it does not, once my AirPods die. So, hopefully you can still hear some sound. I turn this up. Alright.
Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her.
Gosh, this seems so evil. No, don't draw Linney doing these evil things.
At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed.
Okay.
So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box.
There's no way anyone has time to do that in all of this in a minute. Then again, the other thing... Okay, the thing is, the other thing probably shouldn't have taken a minute either, since he planned it and practiced it. Whereas this, you're assuming that something was thrown into the mix of his plans, and therefore, there's no way this could have been done in this amount of time.
Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident.
What do you mean passing into this? Like Linney, Lynette in the other box? Alright, there's definitely holes here.
And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Shush, let me
Does the
do
defendant's
this.
side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
Yes.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Linney experienced and what he saw.
Okay. Okay, identify loopholes. Linney entered the tunnel. That's not it. No. Okay, hang on. Linney entered the tunnel. Okay, so there's 5 things. I'm guessing I'm going to have to use 1 for each. Thank you for pre-selecting from like the 20 pieces of evidence we have. Well, we can't refute Linney entered the tunnel. We know he really did enter the tunnel. He did not witness the crime taking place. He must have been very confused when he saw them. None of these seem like it refutes the evidence of him entering the tunnel, considering he entered the tunnel.
Seems this way.
Okay, thanks, Aether. Good thing we have Aether. You know what? If this is really me, I'd mess up so badly. Good thing Aether's like, no, that's wrong. Okay, I don't really know. No one left? Okay, this one.
Seems...
Can I, like, not? Oh. Oh, we don't have to do it. Okay, I was like, we can't refute that. He really did enter the tunnel. Okay, I didn't realize we don't have to pick one for each. Okay, the loud sound from Linny and Halsey's fight, but Linny claimed that he heard nothing and tried to cover the truth up. He was heading towards the... I mean, we're hoping that this is one of those places with a law that's like, if you give evidence for one trial that would be incriminating in a completely different trial, you can't admit that evidence in a different trial. This will definitely be a different criminal case of him trying to investigate the oratories, but you can't admit this evidence in that trial because this is a different trial. This is the trial of the murder.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
That's right. Linny kidnapped Halsey and removed her clothing. No, because the clothing's there. No?
Seems this won't
Hang on, what's the case? Really in the tunnel at the time. No one left. No, he heard the voice. Is anyone gonna believe us that he heard voices? No one believes us when we hear voices. Alright, that's it though.
Linny went to the room that contains the oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Like I said, we can't use this evidence as evidence in a different criminal case. Kyle walked in on Linny. Existing evidence indicates that Linny returned to the tunnel. The crime had already taken place, and all Linny saw was the clothing.
Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
There we go.
Attention!
Good job, Paimon, and me, of course. Glad to hear Aether speak again.
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel.
Yes, that's irrefutable.
But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the oratories is stored.
Like I said, though, to the audience, they're just going to think like, oh, the attorney ran out of ideas. They're just making stuff up now. There's no way for us to prove any of this was true other than we believe Linny. And also, it kind of makes sense once you realize what his motive would actually be.
Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately.
That's right.
The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore,
It's still a weak argument because we can't prove that any of that, this alternative was real either. Alright. Oh, thank you, Oratrice, for evening out the scales there.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Oh, wasn't it awesome?
Yes. Thank you for talking for me, Paimon.
You believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
Yes. Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion. However, you say that Cowell bumped into Linny by chance.
If that's the case, and if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup?
There we go. You are the flawed one here.
Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Yeah.
They have a point.
Yeah.
That's right, you tell him.
You tell him.
That's why they're partners of mine.
I like her.
managed to turn things
I like
around.
Navia.
Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Well, do you happen to remember how you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't.
Exactly. Put the words there. Your claim has now become my weapon. Your claim has also become a critical clue. They both have magnifying glasses. Should I? Okay. Oh, shoot. Which is the evidence that Linny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place? We're still missing one. Irrelevant. Okay, so it's only these three. Information about the missing lady's identity. Strange sound. Audible thump. Which is the evidence that Linny wasn't in the tunnel when the crime took place? Well, I mean, the strange sound. The fact that he didn't hear it. But, I mean, then we're just repeating what we've already said. But, okay.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange.
Yeah, and once again, we can't use the evidence in this case for another criminal case.
When the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof.
That's right.
How do you like that? Well played.
We're probably gonna...
To think you'd use such logic.
We're probably gonna be in a lot of trouble now, you know. Because we are basically... we might be right, but we're also, like, dissing the Archon. So, if she wanted... I mean, this is sort of like a... If she wanted to be a dictator, she could, and just have us all be arrested and thrown in jail anyway. The only reason she won't is because it's not as fun that way.
Committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murderer was... Select the gear icon in the interface to check the corresponding case questions. Select the answers and fill all the empty gears to verify your correctness in the deduction. If you made mistakes, you must make another selection from the remaining options. You can complete this logic chain. Don't put a timer. Okay, it's not a timer, it's just the sound of a timer. The guard's investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show ignited and burned through the ropes suspending the water tank from above the stage. This caused the water tank to fall and kill Cowell in the box below. If Linny is no longer under suspicion, only the other members of the troupe would have been able to tamper with the props. Okay. What is the original plan for the performance? Linny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using a box inside a box, the idea was for the box containing the audience member to be transported across via a tunnel underneath, and Linny himself would also use this tunnel to get to the other side. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of the on-stage interactions. The clothes belonging to Halsey, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for this remains unknown. Well, it could be Halsey, except we don't have a motive for her. It could be Cowell, except why would his own plan result in him being dead? They would have to be really big what you're doing in order for it to be worth dying for, and I don't see anything really accomplished here. Or a third person. Well, Aether, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a third person.
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
Yeah.
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
I don't think that was worth dying for, so... Okay, it's one of these
Halsey is
two.
the missing person and an ordinary audience member.
I really do think it could be
Or
Halsey.
did she have her own scheme all along?
Except we don't have a motive for her. And hang on. You're still missing one key thing. Where is Halsey? If the tunnel was used for Linny to go and check out the aura trace, and the only other two exits were the two boxes, then where is she? We've not explained that yet. Incorrect? Okay.
Could there have been a third?
Really? Is it him? Why would he?
The deceased's
Why
name
would
is
he
Cal.
die for this? That doesn't make sense. You gotta give me a really good reason that this... I don't see how anything has been accomplished here for any side, other than just giving us a sense of how the justice system works around here. This cannot be worth dying for, can it?
That can't be right. Are you serious?
No, but the game is telling me to pick this answer.
The killer was, in fact, Cal, the deceased. Oh, is that so? How interesting. Let's hear your reasoning then.
Well, Aether?
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did.
Oh my gosh.
How he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Aether. Wait. Oh no. How can we envisage Linny as having been unable to interfere with the crime?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Okay.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
I don't want to just click them randomly. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because I've been awake for
the criminal have wanted to take Halsey?
okay, it's 6 in the morning, and it's now 1 in the morning the next day. So 19 hours. Okay, so first of all, Linny could not have been there.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment.
Okay. And Aether will tell me if I get it wrong, right? Okay, so Aether was not, okay. Sorry, Linny was not there.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
So you're saying, okay, the plan probably was not for Cowell to die. He was probably trying to either kill Linny or Halsey. But mostly Halsey, because, of course, Linny's in the other box. But why?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Okay, so we put that after evidence that somebody would try to escape.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal.
And what is this?
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey?
This one? Okay.
It would have been tough for both people to fit.
And then this one. Please tell me if I'm just super lucky or I'm getting these all wrong, Aether.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Okay.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal.
Oh wait, it's giving prompts up there. Hang on. All of
It would
these.
have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would like.
I should have been looking at these. Okay, how can we envision Linny as being unable? Okay, we did that. Prove that there was an altercation. Is the sound. Switch. Okay, sorry, I wasn't looking at those prompts up there. That makes things way easier. Prime suspect is Cowell. We just said that. Where did the missing Halsey go? That's an excellent question.
The sound we heard may have
Okay,
come
we already
from a
submitted that.
clash.
So it's either.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as
Yeah,
well.
we don't know where she went, but it definitely was not involving Linny. Shoot. Okay, the bottom one's incorrect. It's fine.
No one entered or left the opera house.
No. So she discarded.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
That doesn't explain where she went. Okay. Leaving aside how he died, Cowell had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely have been the sound of Cowell and Halsey struggling. Linny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given Cowell time for Cowell to bring Halsey out of the magic box in the audience stands. You don't think someone would have noticed that? But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house, so even if he had taken her, there'd be no means of exiting. Exiting from the box would have been in full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Yeah, no evidence we've found shows where Halsey went. The only ways out were the 2 boxes and the tunnel, of which we're pretty sure she didn't go through any of those, except for when she went in, but...
I see how it is.
Hey,
So this was all just
shush, like I said.
And here I thought you had something to show for
You
it.
don't need to mock
But it
us.
seems you are still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
Okay.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared. Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely.
I am so confused right now.
And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Yeah, Lynette, you've never explained how that went. In fact, I thought that when he was going to explain his tricks, he was going to explain that one too. Yeah, hang on, how does that work? Could it have been the water? His eyes widen.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that
Hey,
the crowd is growing impatient?
It's not about what the crowd
There is
wants
no
in a real
greater
trial, you
sin
know.
in this opera
Just because people
house
get to
than
watch.
an awkward delay in the performance.
Like I said, I'm not a fan of her so far. Because I think me and her, we would not get along in real life. It's not about what the crowd wants. That being said, just give me a second. Uh-oh. It's only 2
If
dots.
the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Hold on a second. Yeah? What is
Lenny
it?
was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Water. Explain this water to me. Because if it has something to do with the water, we're moving out of the realm of just props and contraptions and into real magic here. Okay. I'm glad we were supposed to get it wrong last time because I got really worried I did it wrong.
Oh, I don't get it. It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped.
Yeah. Linny, how did you make Lynette disappear last time?
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind.
Okay.
If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water... Just a moment, please. I do hope.
Yeah, like I said, there's
going
gonna be a point where it's like nobody's gonna believe us because we are just making stuff up.
How can a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
I would expect you to say, well, I'm the Hydro Archon, so things are going on involving water. I would know. But no, apparently she's too proud to even say that. Like something reasonable here. I request to examine Cowell's personal effects. We might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real.
Lenny, can you explain how the trick with Lynette in the water worked? Because I need to know whether that's
I trust
not
the traveler's judgment.
real magic or not.
The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make
Yeah,
sense.
and this is perfectly
Since Cal was the
legal,
deceased, we haven't placed much attention on it.
right?
But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
Yeah.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end.
She's secretly enjoying this though.
The way
This
I
is
see it,
just
your suggestion
drama
that
to
we
her.
broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
really.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial doesn't
Thank you, voice of reason, the only of which
additional
exists
evidence may
in
help
this
us make
place.
more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased Cal.
Thank you. How about you let us take a look? But
We are
okay,
still
sure.
examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste.
Okay,
We
do tell.
discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately.
Okay.
The notebook in his backpack
So this
claims
must be the
that these
last thing
fluids
that is
are
missing in my notes.
water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea.
Primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that
Is that-
Cowell belonged to
uh-oh.
an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice.
Okay.
The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times.
The people will dissolve into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Oh no.
One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty.
That
The notes also
sounds...
state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's
That's
likely
actually...
that Halsey was
Holy
chosen
moly,
as
that's
some
actually
sort of
horrible.
test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact,
Okay,
supported
I'm
by
glad we're
sufficient
winning.
evidence.
I didn't want that to be the
You gotta
answer.
be
That's...
People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous
That,
actually be true?
hang on, that's actually really horrible.
Reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence.
No, of course it's not a coincidence, but...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl, wait just a minute, could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Mademoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
We're too busy right
Let's
now.
go. Just trust me.
We're actually up there on the stand, you know.
Order!
Yes, sir.
It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor.
Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can refresh the recording and have it be reconnected to my AirPods. Okay, I sincerely hope I have not broken the recording and I don't lose any of my footage. Yeah. Anyway, hello, Linny. Can you imagine, this all started with us, you know, visiting, we saw Dia back in Sumeru, we came over to the port and we met Linny and Lynette and our friends who were giving the magic things to, the magic pouches to people. And times were just so much simpler then, weren't they? Anyway, continue.
If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Explain the metal hook.
Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
The liquid the guards found in Cowell's luggage seems to have the ability to dissolve Fontainians into water. I don't like that. That's actually horrific. Except for, I guess, that one perspective of we once were water. That one guy had. Is like, well, we once were water, so someday if we return to the water, it's just natural. I suppose. Although now that it's important to this fashion, I'm not so sure I like it so much. I didn't really like it that much to begin with. I just didn't find it as disagreeable as I do now with this context. Oh, screen recording saved. Good. That means the previous one saved. I am happy about that. Alright, continue. Hopefully this one will too. Who is the prime suspect?
The
This guy,
deceased's
apparently.
name is Cowl, Linny's assistant.
Okay, we know it's him. What item did the culprit use to control the timing of the dissolution? Fire. But it's probably
Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism.
Okay. What item did
The water from
To
the
dissolve.
primordial sea should already have been prepped before
Okay. What item did the culprit use to hide the mechanism behind the crime?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
There we go. Alright. Please tell me everything's gonna be fine here.
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again!
That's right.
In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial sea
Super
inside
complicated
it
and
would
ingenious.
pour down and dissolve
If only you could
Halsey.
use that intelligence for
Afterward,
something
Cowl
not
would
murder
enter the tunnel
and
break
kidnapping.
the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage.
So the water that was down there was
he
the
encountered
victim.
something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water
Yeah,
tank.
okay, that's
he
another
meant to
hole.
use to
Why
cover
would
his
he be
tracks.
back in the box?
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
I guess since they live in a world where magic exists, they
Oh dear, what do I do?
and people will
Even
believe
I
it.
think
But and
these
then again,
sound
it's not what the
convincing
people
now.
think. It's what
Have
Neuvillette
I falsely
thinks.
accused an innocent
And-
person? What a humiliation.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cowl's death.
Exactly.
His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
Okay, what have you just been informed about?
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence.
All right, let's
I shall
hear it.
now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case.
Okay.
And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea
Oh,
among Linny's
no.
personal effects.
What?
He's
can't
never even heard of this water before.
Oh, I see.
Please just
Well,
stay
how
quiet while I
wonderfully
think.
Comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound
I mean, that's
you.
exactly what we did to you earlier, so don't get too
Does
cocky.
this not clear all doubt?
No.
My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring
Linny.
this performance to a swift close.
Linny, you're not lying to me again. Shoot. Okay.
Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the
Dissolution
vent.
seems like not a nice way to die.
Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime.
Okay, that's definitely gonna be refuted because I don't see how this is sole credit is doing any good here.
Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization.
There's no way Linny would be that sloppy, though.
Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Wait, you're not even gonna give me a chance?
Oh no.
You're not even gonna give me a chance to like press buttons or something?
It doesn't look like there's any way around
Whatever, this is all a scripted trial anyway.
Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Oh, why did this have to happen now?
What are we missing here?
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning.
No, it's not flawless.
I believe this is indeed
It's not
the finale.
flawless, but...
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Thank you, Navia.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes.
What are you doing?
Do the honors, Mr. Linny, if you would be so kind.
Do what?
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Okay. And yet...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again?
Okay.
And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
Is Neuvillette and the guards okay with this?
I understand.
Alright.
And voila.
What?
Sorry for the interruption.
Okay.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
What happened?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence.
So I was right then.
I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us.
Okay.
Where should I begin?
Explain.
I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowell. I admit it.
Why didn't they just let me pick that earlier? I guess it's because it's the story. Alright. But I had my suspicions with her. Like I said, I felt like she was the one. But I was like, if I feel wrong, I'll feel bad. But thankfully, I don't have to feel so bad anymore. Okay, elaborate.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey! No wonder you
I was
familiar.
right. I thought it was. I knew it was her, but I was like, oh, it might just be the NPC design is the same.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes.
Oh, so you were in there.
I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
If they're a practiced hand at concealment, probably. A professional thief could make it work.
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I guess the whole argument about her being dissolved is gone. Thank goodness we're not doing that in this game. Now it's time to refute the Hydro Archon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
Okay. So, Linny entered the tunnel after beginning the countdown after she used the ventilation shaft to leave the tunnel and did not participate in the dissolving of the young woman. Okay, well, no, that's true. Cowell planned to use the prepared apparatus to dissolve Halsey, and how Halsey would have reacted when Halsey dissolved. We know she's not dissolved. She's literally here. How about... Wait, what was it? As Halsey has appeared completely unharmed before your eyes, Furina's condition no longer holds water, pun intended. And how would Halsey have reacted when the water suddenly began to trickle in? How she have reacted? Okay, not that. She had to escape, right? Okay, maybe there's no rebuttal here. Linny wanted all the credit and glory to get rid of his parties. As Halsey appears completely unharmed, this crime never even happened, but there was a fight, which is the sound. Linny knocked Cowell out. They're using the methods to dissolve. What did Halsey do? I'm too tired. Oh my gosh, it's not this, it's... And they meant to look this up, the accident, which is this. Okay, these two are real. Linny knocked Cowell out. Well, Cowell was knocked out. But not by Linny. There's no rebuttal here. Okay. Like I said, am I just tired? As Halsey, none of these... Why are we rebuting this at all? So the answer is nobody died. Nobody... Okay, somebody died, which is unfortunate, but... It's been pretty explained, has it not?
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lily-Ann's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
I see. Fighting. There was no fighting. A fight broke out. There we go.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lily-Ann and Cowell.
I knew she was the thief right away, because it's the same hair. When he picked her out of the crowd, like, isn't that the thief? I was like, no, they could have just used the same model.
Lily-Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time.
You probably should have hid your old clothes too,
then. Experience.
There you go.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lily-Ann panicked. Her Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicks the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion,
Why was there water?
Cowl leapt into the tunnel.
Oh, right, the
only
dissolving.
to
Did the
discover
water actually
that
dissolve
Lillian
though? Or did she just get lucky? Did she just get lucky, or does it not actually dissolve?
Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was
Oh.
a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket.
Oh, so the water does dissolve people, but she was immune to it. Okay, never mind. So the horrific dissolving water still exists. It's just that she was immune to it because she's not from Fontaine. Okay, that's why it was important that she's from Mondstadt.
Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower
And
vase
of course,
during the
her
struggle,
name is Halsey because she
but
stole a
Lillian
ticket and
came
used
out on top,
under somebody else's identity.
knocking Cowl out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Although you'd think somebody would see her sneaking out at some point in time. But I guess it's just like in Ocean's 8, and then when they're stealing the necklace in the bathroom, and then she uses the chance to get out from the washroom while everybody else is moving out, even though they did the whole thing with the cameras to make sure you couldn't see who came out of the washroom. You would think you'd notice one person being out of one shot and then in the next shot, but whatever. It's just you'd think that you'd still notice her escaping at some point, but okay. There we go. Goodbye, Furina. What do the dots on the middle of the Libra scale mean? Does it just mean how strong the argument is, or like how far through the trial it thinks we are? Because this is just quite
That
complicated.
she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
And we gotta thank Navia for
She had
putting
already
this
become
together.
desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right
There
under
we
our
go.
noses.
That's where the macarons
About a
went.
sneaky thief.
At this point, all
I
the events
knew
that
it
happened
wasn't
in the
somebody
tunnel
just
have
eating
now
more of
come
them.
to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Holy
Bravo!
I gotta say,
Bravo!
I mean, this is not the whole story. This is Act 1 of probably like 5 or 6 or 7, but wow, the writers have done a really good job with this one, I must say. So many plot twists. You'd almost think it was written just for Farina. In fact, I'd almost say that everybody wins here, because if all Farina really wants is an entertaining show, she got one, and we get to walk free. Okay, there's still one more.
Now
guard.
then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
Gotta appreciate Neuvillette for, you know, like I said, he's the honorable one around here. I am so glad he treats her, he treats Farina equally to how he treats us. Because that's not an easy thing to do. And it basically, without that, the entire integrity of this trial would be lost. Now, I suppose it's probably a question for another act. How does he have this sort of command over Farina? It's almost like she's afraid of him.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events.
Okay.
The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowl, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed,
Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved.
That's right.
He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box
is another
and stuck
issue
it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water.
Okay.
If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise.
Think about this, though. This whole plan only works, too, if Cowell knew that Linny was gonna be in the tunnel. So just think of how many layers there is to this, because Linny, even Linny didn't tell us about the extra tunnel. The air vent that he was investigating the origins. Once again, okay, so this child's very interesting, but we have a whole bunch of plot points, like Neuvillette and Farina, what's up with them, you know, the Oratrice, Linny and Lynette from the House of the Hearth, like, oh my gosh. So we've had this entire Archon quest has been like one big story, and yet there's still so much left, and oh my gosh, it's 2 in the morning. All right, we better finish this up.
Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little bit nervous right now, because I'm recording on my phone. My phone stopped recording just now, and instead started playing this song called Cold Water, that I have never heard of before, or never heard before. I didn't recognize it. I've no idea what this song is, and it's 2 in the morning, and I've checked all the area around me, and there's like no like, hey Siri, okay, just checking my There's none of that activated on my phone. So what caused the song to play that I've never heard of? And now I'm actually looking behind me. This is a little bit horrifying because I've now spent the last 6 hours playing a game involving the disappearances of young women, and that's not comforting to have happen at 2 in the morning. Okay. But it's fine, I'm okay. By all logic and reasoning, there's nothing that's going to happen to me except for the fact that, what was that? Like, why did that just happen? And you know what? Not important. Just continue. Pretend that... just pretend that nothing happened.
Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Oh yeah, and we still haven't explained why...
There is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated
Linny
separately.
had the bottle in his bag
This case,
of
at
the
least,
primordial
can be handed
water.
over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Oh, that looks a little bit like Honkai Star Rail. Gee, I'm sure this case is going to produce lots of energy for... lots and lots and lots of energy to power all of your great machines and things and wonderful things.
Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Yay! I mean, there's definitely a lot of other criminal cases that can be stemmed off of this, if only. But thankfully, there's actually laws preventing. You can't use evidence presented in one case to incriminate somebody in a different case. Let's not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How
Okay.
did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Yeah.
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to
I feel like we shouldn't let her
this
talk
court?
anymore in this case.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
No. Now this is baseless, but sure, let's go
I'm
for it.
sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
Who are the
now that your
higher-ups?
plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups.
This is not good that there's
Therefore,
dissolving water
you would
is
be wise
real.
to tell everything you know and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve.
Just like in the
It can also be
prophecy.
made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration.
Okay, so that explains the drug
We've been in this
business.
business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean,
Like
this is
over the
the
last
boss
20
we're talking
years?
about.
All those disappearances? I do not. I wanna unsee that.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act.
Who is them?
All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Yeah, we have another trial here for who murdered this guy. Well, no wonder they have so many trials. One crime just keeps happening after another. I'm sure this is another crime. I want to unsee that. And that was just an animated version of what it actually would have looked like, and it's still really unsettling to me. Just like how I'm unsettled by how I think this house is completely haunted. Because why would it start playing music I've never heard of and cut my recording out? Anyway, the problem seems to have been solved for now. We're not needed here anymore.
That's true, but...
More questions than we've answered?
Paimon, please wait.
Yeah? Hi.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
I just didn't want to see anyone be falsely accused.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight.
Yeah, explain.
I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
Knave.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story?
Yeah, of course.
It's about my past.
We're good at listening
Back
to people's
when our parents
stories.
first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
Being exploited.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
But
Better
he's
than
being
roaming
exploited
the streets,
there.
at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
Do you think they would?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Villains.
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
Interesting.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
Wow.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
That's all in the past, though. The knave is after the Gnosis, isn't she?
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right.
Well, apparently this water is real,
is
so...
working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
We've just been hit with a lot of information. I mean... Yeah, I mean, from their perspective, I mean... Gosh, it's really... It's really awful to think about Lynette and all those other girls and what was going to happen to them if Arlecchino hadn't stepped in. So I guess from that perspective, I mean... I guess, yeah, of course their ideals would align. I mean, yeah, from Aether's perspective, can't completely trust you. I mean, with Aether, let's be honest, he's too quick to trust people anyway. You shouldn't trust people that quickly. But when you look at it from Lynnie and Lynette's perspective, I mean, it's not necessarily a choice so much as this is what life offered them. the best opportunity it offered them. And they haven't done anything evil yet. So.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand. We'll just turn our backs on him.
Bye, Linny.
Bye, Linny. Bye, Lynette. Are they still here? What time is it? I think this has actually been longer than Akasha Pulse's Cult of Flame Risers. Which is no small thing to say. Sorry, I feel really like... I don't... So now we know about the disappearances of a lot of the young women. Are those girls the same as the ones that were kidnapped? Or is that the different scheme with the guys, the drug guys who are like dissolving them? And why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why? There's some things you can attribute to just pure evil, and other things just don't make sense at all. And I probably need sleep.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Nobody else is in there.
For us, Navia?
Sorry, I've been hit with too much information. I'm a little bit...
This whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
Well, I'm sorry, Navia.
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
I was really only trying to defend Linny. I wasn't necessarily looking to the serial disappearances case. Although, I'd say a lot of the evidence we have may link to some of the disappearances, if that helps.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon people to follow now,
toward...
right?
Ah.
Yeah. This is her Ayaka moment.
Well, I won't lie.
This is her Ayaka moment, trying to convince us to
I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too.
Well, I'm sure I'll see you again in the next chapter.
It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer.
That's some high praise, but okay.
Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me.
Okay.
Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Okay, sure.
Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
If you say so, let's go have that meal then.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Okay, it's over. What is this? Offerings to the Fountain of Lucine. Okay, so it's just right outside here, right? Not gonna lie, I'm left a little bit depressed after that. Shoot, I didn't even do the commissions yesterday, because it's been 7 hours. Sure, I mean, yeah. Let's get that. We'll get, log in, because it's a new day already. Is the resin, I think we did the battle earlier. We need to get out of this place. We need out of this place. I need to clear my head. Okay, where do I go on like offerings? In here? Sorry, what am I supposed to do with this? Oh, did I just not have any sigils? Oh, the plaque, okay. Okay, questions we don't have answered. Neuvillette has been around for hundreds of years, like Furina. What is their connection and who really is he? I guess I was gonna ask what is the House of the Hearth's operation, but I guess they are really just trying to save Fontaine. I'll take them at their word for that. What else? The dissolving water is real. I don't like that. With the serial disappearances of the missing girls, some of it seems like it could have been like what happened to Lynette, and some of it also seems like it could have been the dissolving of people, of which I don't understand the motive for that yet. The energy, we don't know about the oratrice and the energy. The whole point of what Lenny was trying to find, but it didn't really work. What else? We met Navia, that was cool. And it's like, there we go, just enjoy that tea. Just thinking back to when Charlotte brought up the missing women, and I just heard that melody in the background. And Lenny said about how much he would do anything to protect his sister, and he basically, for looking for a better life, ended up getting exploited by rich people, who then sold off his sister to do who knows what. I mean, like, you can tell all those experiences make him the person he is today. That's what I mean, is like, he strikes me as the kind of person who has to keep smiling, because you just keep smiling until you start to believe you're really happy. What the heck is... I thought that was like a crab or something, but it turns out it's a person. I think I need sleep. It is almost 3 in the morning. I've been playing this since the update launched. So, yeah, the entire Prelude of Blancheur and Noirceur. Seems like we're in for a treat with the Fontaine story. But man, is this a little bit depressing. I mean, the only reason somebody didn't get dissolved here was because of a technicality. This is really how they're murdering people. I don't like this. Well, I like this. Okay, I'm gonna say, I love this in terms of the story and how complex and emotional and just profound and deep it is. How the Genshin, in fact, somehow at every quest they outdo themselves somehow. And here I am, just admiring all these little details I can't even fathom. Like, I'm gonna have to watch this whole thing back, all the hours of it, right? Just to fathom how they did it. And yet, so I love it in that regard, but wow, is it really hitting in the sort of like emotions and feelings and, you know, setting the stage for we really need to do something about all of this. As we do. I see a dog in the background that's making me happy. Alright, I'm gonna go to bed now. I was thinking of going to do the next part of the Archon quest tomorrow, but I'm thinking that's not a good idea. I probably will go diving though. That would be nice. Alright, also, now knowing this, is Femine actually like their biological brother or like their like adoptive brother in the House of the Hearth? Because I can tell Linny and Lena are the twins, of course, and then... You think of yourselves as magicians. But like, I don't get what the metaphor of her knocking the standees over and like... Okay, there's just too much. I think I need to sleep. Like I said, it's now 3 in the morning, and I was up since 6 a.m. yesterday without sleeping or resting. This is probably the longest amount of time I've ever been awake, because usually I don't get up early, so I stay up late. That's not an issue. Alright, enough. Enough of that. Let's not be sad. Let's enjoy what we've just witnessed today for what it is. As sad as it is, it was a beautifully written story, and there's definitely more. So until then, I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.